Back page of the Times this morning. Axed Stelling seeks clarity over his future. Forward left out of Chelsea squad for City defeat. Also the statement that came from his team just before kick-off. It's clearly not
his team.
Yes, his team of people. A club that's aligned. Surely something else has happened here, Ali.
Well, you just said, Jeff asked me a question. Could it be the end of the road for Raheem Stelling at Chelsea? It might be. I mean, you don't know what the manager's thinking. That said, he's form dipped, Shebahn. I thought he had a great start to the last year's season. I really did. And there was talk of him getting back into Gareth's plans. However, he's form dipped, as did, to be fair to him, a lot, if not the majority of the Chelsea players. But I don't know if he's one of these players that will hang about if he's not playing. So if you're asking me, do I think he will there long? Certainly not if he's not in the team. Where
could he go, Jeff? I mean, if it's not Saudi, could he go to another club in the Prem?
No, it's what we were talking about, really. Yeah, he probably could, but not necessarily at the level of his expectations.
That's it.
Which I think that would be a real issue as far as he's concerned. I looked at.
I don't think a team like Newcastle, for example, would be interested in him either. I don't think a Villa would be interested in him.
Well, Newcastle, you look at Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes, so no real requirement there. Villa, one of the issues we were talking at Villa last week with Monchi and the sort of director of football operations, and obviously one of their issues is not just PSR, but they also have to fall in line. I didn't realise this. They also have to fall in line with European regulations, which are even stricter than the PSR regulations in here. So I don't think they can spend.
That's it. We'll wait and see for Raheem Sterling. But either way, I think how things lined up for Chelsea yesterday, that statement coming out, and also Enzo Fernández getting the armband. There's a piece inside The Sun.
Yes.
Money and mayhem, racism, 115 charges, star player in a rage, and then it kicks off with City win as per usual. Andrew Dillon saying one team are facing a record 115 charges of dodgy dealing. The other had their captain join teammates in taking the knee weeks after apologising for making racist remarks. So Enzo Maresca was asked about this in the press conference, and he said, amongst his teammates, he's doing very well. He's made a mistake. He's apologised. People make mistakes in the past. They've all got to move on. But you can't sit and say that he's completely aligned with a team in the dressing room or harmonious when he's done what he's done. And
I thought it was an extremely strange decision.
It's like doubling down. It's doubling down.
He's making a statement himself, isn't he? The manager by doing it. But I thought it was strange. I mean, why would you bring another? I mean, no matter how the game goes yesterday, that's going to be the first question you're asked at the press conference. So why would you give yourself that problem?
Yeah, another layer of problems there.
Yeah, a lack of options, I guess. He's looked around and thought, well, who can I make captain? Who is my captain on the field?
But
and
that's
it's a darn good question.
Jeff, that ain't a captain.
No, look, I'm not defending it in any way, shape or form. I thought it was a very strange decision indeed. Fernández then showed with his performance that really should barely be guaranteed a place in the side, to be brutally honest, because he was average, let's be flattering, to say the least, And I tell you, if you're a Chelsea player or supporter, how discouraged are you when you see Todd Bowley getting out of his seat and leaving 5 minutes before the end?
Yeah.
Where was he going? Was he going to the dressing room? Is that another sign of the disruption in the club? I heard Alan Pardew speaking about this yesterday on The Final Word. When you see an owner getting up, and if he's involving himself in those matters, it's a really, really bad way for the club to be run. But with Enzo Fernández getting the captain, I agree. Everybody gets a second chance. He's probably not the worst guy in the world, but give it time.
But not immediately, yeah. I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think you make a great point, Jeff. I'm looking at the Manchester City team, for example, and you've got 5 captains in there. Your goalkeeper, the captain, Diaz, Akanji, Kovacic, De Bruyne. But look at the Chelsea side, and you're struggling to pick one.
Yeah, it's
problem.
Absolutely crazy. And then also how they're treating all their homegrown talents, the number of players that have been left out of the squad. Okay, I don't think anybody expected them to start and beat the champions, but all of the other off-field issues just didn't help their case yesterday, and it probably doesn't help Enzo Maresca moving forward.
Hey, one of the bizarre things I found yesterday, I'm sitting watching it with Robbie and Matt, my 2 boys at home, and Chelsea start to bring on substitutes, and I'm looking at them saying, who's this?
Who are they?
I know.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's the fullback? Who's the central defender coming on? Who's the centre forward who's 18? You know, it's bewildering for a club that has spent so much. And if you looked at one or two of the players on the bench, I can see a lot of disharmony there, not just now, but in the future as well, if you look at some of the names on the bench.
Yeah. Look, again, you mentioned it before, some of the names in the other bench. Walker, Stones, Ake, Grealish, Ortega, Nunes, Foden. I mean, Aurelien and McAtee.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic, you know. Robbers texted, by the way, Shebahn. Shebahn, what would you do if your hubby rocked up in Daniel Sturridge's gear? It was atrocious. Micah not far behind. Jamie Redknapp was the epitome of style as always.
Oh, Jamie Redknapp is a stylish guy. No,
Redknapp was looking magnificent yesterday.
He always does.
Magnificent.
Whereas I think Sturridge, I was like, okay, you
Proper
brought a bit of style and sass here.
clothing for a man of his years, I felt yesterday. Jamie
would
just got it right.
Jamie Aherne would wear stuff like that. So judge all you want.
Would he?
Nah.
What, like the Sturridge outfit?
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a half and half going on somewhere in the cupboard. You two don't judge it till you've tried it.
Don't have to
get you two
don't
shopping.
Try it.
Get me your cards.
Absolutely not. Alistair is Partick Thistle fan. He's made a suggestion. He said, morning boys, Stelling to sign for Rangers. I won't read the next bit of it.
Exactly.
But maybe someone like Celtic would be an option for him. You know, I don't know whether he would view that as a massive step down.
Well, he probably would.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I don't think so. I think if he's leaving the country, he's going Saudi or he's going somewhere else.
Big money elsewhere.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.